Hello student, hope all of you are well. Today my second class from electrostatics. In my first class I discussed electric field, Coulomb's law, dipole, moment of dipole, that is torque, etc. Today mainly I shall discuss Gauss's theorem and its application. But before discussing the Gauss's theorem, we have to know the electric field lines and flux. So come to the point, what is electric field lines? This is a positive charge plus Q. So it produces an electric field surrounding it. Practically the field extends up to a few centimeters, but mathematically it is extended up to infinity. In my first class we know intensity is proportional to 1 by r square for point charge. So when r equal to infinity, then E equal to 0. So mathematically the field extended up to infinity. Now if we place a positive test charge, in this field due to repulsive force, this positive test charge move in this direction up to infinity. If this positive charge, test charge, keep here, this charge will move in this direction up to infinity. So if we place this test charge in this field, it will move in this way. Follow, this angle is 90 degree. So if we take a negative charge minus Q, then similarly it will produce an electric field surrounding it. If we place a positive test charge here, it will move in this, positive test charge, due to attraction it will move towards minus Q. If we place here this positive test charge, it will move towards source charge. You follow the lines, that is path is coming from infinity. So these lines, imaginary lines, are called electric field lines. So what is electric field lines? In an electric field lines are that lines through which isolated free positive test charge can move easily. Okay, and electric field lines originate from positive test charge, making an angle 90 degree, and terminate in negative test charge making an angle 90 degree also. But in the conductor, the electric field inside a conductor is 0. So there is no existence of electric field inside a conductor. That is why electric field lines is not closed loop, it is open loop. Okay. Now if we consider an electric dipole, this is positive charge, this is negative charge, this is plus Q, this is minus Q. So this is an electric dipole. So if we draw the electric field lines, what we will get? Follow, it originates from positive charge and terminates to negative charge. Follow this line, follow this line, follow this line, So this etc. Here also now this is the electric field lines. Okay, so what is the properties of electric field lines? Number one, it's originate from positive charge and terminate to negative charge. No two field lines intersect each other. Number three, it meets the surface with 90 degree. Number four property, it has a tendency to contract longitudinally. Follow. It has a tendency to contract longitudinally, and in laterally it exerts pressure. So this is the another two property, important property. If we draw any tangent, if we draw a tangent at any point, follow, this is a tangent AT. If we draw a tangent at any point on the electric field lines, this tangent indicate the electric field at that point. If we draw a tangent here, follow, this tangent BT is also the electric field indicate. So it is the another property. And inside the conductor, at first I mentioned that inside the conductor there is the electric field 0, so no existence of electric field lines. Now, main 2 or 3 points of electric field lines. I mentioned in one property that two field lines never intersect each other. If these two field lines if intersect each other at point here, we get two tangents. Follow. One is AT1, other is AT2. So this is an electric field, direction of electric field here. This is another direction. So if the two field lines intersect each other, then we get two tangents at the intersecting point, and the direction of field, electric field at that point in two different directions. That is impossible. So the field line never intersect each other. Number 2 points mainly, we say that electric field lines contracts longitudinally. Okay, contracts longitudinally. This is the point. Electric field lines contact longitudinally. It means the opposite charge will act each other. Clear? So there is a question: which property of electric field lines indicate that opposite charge acts each other? So the answer will be the property electric field lines has a tendency to contact longitudinally. Again, the another point, electric field line exert pressure laterally. Okay, electric field line exert pressure laterally. Follow, this line and this line exert pressure, that is press increases. From this point we come to conclusion that two same charge repel each other. This is another question. Clear? Note it. Now, so electric field lines originate from positive charge, terminate to negative charge, and it extends up to infinity. Okay, so we different type of property we came to know. Now, next point before discussing of Gauss's theorem, electric flux. Okay. Now, what is electric flux? If we consider an area. Follow. This is an area, that is surface. The area is ds. In physics, we know the area is a vector quantity and its direction is perpendicular to the surface and outward. Okay, so the direction of this area is in this direction ds, normal to the surface and outward. Here is an electric field. Follow. This is the field lines. Okay, this is the field lines. Parallel field lines mean the electric field is uniform and electric field direction from this to that. This is the direction of the electric field. So, if E be the electric field and ds be the area, then what is flux? Total number of electric field lines passing normally through an area is called the flux linked with that area. Now, the direction of E and ds is same. So here flux phi equal to E dot ds. Follow. The angle between E and ds 0. So E ds cos of 0 degree, that is E ds. Follow. Flux is a scalar quantity, but E and ds both are vector quantity. Flux is the dot product of two vectors, that is intensity of electric field and area vector. Now, if the follow this, if this area is not perpendicular to the direction of the field, suppose the figure slightly change, this is the area. Okay, the direction of electric field in this, but direction of ds changes. This is the normal, so this is the direction and this is the electric field. Suppose this angle be theta. So phi equal to E ds cos theta. That the component of ds towards E is ds cos theta. Follow. The component of ds, because ds is a vector quantity, towards E is ds cos theta. So E ds cos theta, that is E dot ds. This is the total flux through this area. When theta equal to 0 degree, when theta equal to 0 degree, phi equal to maximum E ds. When theta equal to 180 degree, phi equal to minus E ds. What is this? Negative. When theta equal to 90 degree, phi equal to 0. Suppose the field and area is perpendicular to each other, then flux, no flux linked with the area. So what is the significance of negative flux? Follow. The figure, if the direction of the electric field in opposite direction, in this direction electric field, consider, and vector ds in this direction, in this case minus E ds cos theta, because this angle 180 degree minus theta, 180 degree minus theta. Follow. 180 degree minus theta. So this flux will be negative, minus E ds cos theta, minus E dot ds. So flux when, now follow this figure. Here we consider three surfaces. Note, I am waiting, note this. Now Here I consider this is a surface and this is another surface, and here I consider another surface. Okay, this surface I indicate S1, this is S2 and this is S3 surface. Follow the field in this direction, that is E, and normal to the surface, that is outward in this direction. So E and ds are in the same direction. So it is positive flux, that is positive flux. Follow this figure. Here minus q charge, here plus q charge. Here the field is in this direction and normal, that is ds area in this direction. So E and ds in the opposite. So in this area the flux link is negative flux. Okay, but here the flux is 0. Here flux equal to 0 because no charge inside this area. And follow this flux outward flux positive, inward flux negative, outward flux positive, inward flux negative. So this is inward flux negative, outward flux positive, total flux 0. So we may come to the conclusion that if there is no charge inside a closed surface, no flux linked with that area. Now we discuss the Gauss's theorem. Okay, follow. I think it is clear to all of you. Okay, next time. So we understand what is positive flux, negative flux. Okay. Now we shall discuss Gauss's theorem. Follow. This is an area, not symmetrical. I consider a non-symmetrical area. Here is a charge plus q, plus charge, that is charge is q, point charge, and the distance from this charge of this surface, of this point of the surface r. Now consider a small surface. Okay, this is a small surface area. Here the surface area of surface ds. Now according to Coulomb's law, the total flux, here the flux, this is the flux. So according to Coulomb's law, total flux E dot ds, total integration, that is closed surface, that is this side, total flux phi equal to E dot ds equal to 1 by epsilon naught into q. Follow. This is the Gaussian theorem, mathematical form of Gaussian theorem. So what is the Gaussian theorem? The total flux over a closed surface in vacuum is 1 by epsilon naught times of the charge enclosed by that surface. Clear? Again I repeat, the total flux over a closed surface in vacuum is 1 by epsilon naught times the total charge enclosed by that surface. Clear? Mathematically we can write in this form: in vacuum, if this in other medium instead of vacuum, then the equation will be E dot ds equal to 1 by k epsilon naught q. K be the dielectric constant or relative permittivity of the said medium. K equal to dielectric constant. In my first chapter I already discussed. Okay, so this is the Gaussian statement. Now we prove the Gauss's theorem. Proof of Gauss's theorem. Follow. Proof. Suppose follow this figure. This is the direction of electric field E and normal of the surface this direction ds. This angle theta. Suppose ds be the normal, outward normal of this ds surface, that is the direction of area vector, and E be the direction of the electric field. Consider now E dot ds equal to E ds cosine of theta. Clear? According to Coulomb's law, the field at this point, suppose this point is P, the field at this point E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. Okay, put this value phi 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square ds cosine of theta. Clear? Next, in my next line, q by 4 pi epsilon naught integration of ds cos theta by r square. Now follow. This two-dimensional area makes an angle at the center O. This point P. This ds surface makes an three-dimensional angle here, that is d omega. We express it d omega. This is solid angle. You know the steradian is the unit of solid angle. Solid angle. So the d omega be the solid angle at the center O subtended by the area ds. This is d omega q by 4 pi epsilon naught integration of d omega. Total, this symbol, this circular symbol, total closed integral, closed form. This value, the value of this is 4 pi epsilon into 4 pi. So final result we get q by epsilon naught. So total flux over a closed surface in vacuum is q by epsilon naught. The charge q is enclosed by that closed surface. Here a new point you get solid angle. Okay, note that I now discuss solid angle. What is solid angle? The total solid angle at O due to the whole closed surface is 4 pi. Here we generally know the angle. If two line meets at that point, this is the angle, maybe 60 degree, 40 degree, pi radian, 2 pi radian, pi by 2 radian. But when a surface, three-dimensional surface. Suppose this is the surface. So here follow this figure. This surface area, this angle 3 dimension, this angle is solid angle, and the total surface, if we round a spherical surface, at the center it will make 4 pi steradian. Here the total angle 2 pi in 2 dimensional, but solid angle in case of 4 pi, that is 4 pi. So we proved it, the Gauss's theorem. Okay. Now I shall discuss how we get Coulomb's law from Gauss's theorem. Okay, note it. So next point. In another case, I have mentioned in other, if the instead of vacuum it is there is another medium, then Q by K epsilon naught. Okay. Proof of Coulomb's law from Gauss's theorem. Gauss's theorem. Clear this point. Proof of Coulomb's law from Gauss's theorem. Suppose this is a point charge plus Q, and at a distance r there is a test charge, another charge, suppose Q naught. We draw a sphere around Q. We draw a sphere around Q. We draw a sphere taking O be the center and radius r. This is the Gaussian surface. This is the Gaussian surface. Here, this is a small area. The area, direction of E, and also this is the direction of ds because it is spherical surface. If we take non-symmetrical surface, then it may be proved, no problem. So here, E dot ds integration equal to Q by epsilon naught. This is the Gauss's theorem. We proved Coulomb's law from Gauss's theorem. This is the ds. E and ds same angle. So E ds cos of 0 degree equal to Q by epsilon naught. Follow E integration of ds equal to Q by epsilon naught. What is the integration of ds? What is the value of ds? Total surface, that is 4 pi r square. E multiply 4 pi r square equal to Q by epsilon naught. So E equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. This is the, in my first chapter I discussed the intensity at a distance r from a point charge E equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Similarly, we can find out the electric field with the help of Gauss's theorem. If here is the another charge Q, so the force due to this electric field F equal to Q into E. This charge Q naught into E. So the result will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q Q0 by R square. This is the Coulomb's law. Okay. So from Gauss's theorem, we can find out the electric field, also the Coulomb's law. We consider the total Gaussian surface is a sphere. If we take the non-symmetrical surface with the help of solid angle, we can prove it easily and we will reach the same result. Okay, follow it. If instead of vacuum there is another medium, the final result here will be another density constant K, and here also the K. Okay, note it. Now, next point. What is Gaussian surface? I mentioned Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface is a surface surrounding distribution of charge or point charge, distribution of charge or point charge or linear charge. Okay, the Gaussian surface will be such that every point on this surface, the intensity of electric field will be same and the flux will be normal on the surface. Clear? This is the Gaussian surface. Every point the electric field will be same and the flux will be normal. So Gaussian surface around charge distribution or point charge or linear charge such that the intensity of electric field at every point will be same and of course direction different but magnitude same and flux will be normal. Now in every case, due to when we apply Gauss's theorem at the time of application, we have to draw Gaussian surface. Okay. With the help of Gauss's theorem, it is very easy to calculate the electric field intensity for different cases. Now, suppose this is a Gaussian surface and here is the charge plus Q. Now, from here, this is the electric lines of force, that is flux linked to it, I suppose. Okay. Now, follow a small area here, that is this small area DS1, and here is a small area, that is DS2. The normal in this direction DS2 and this normal is in the direction DS1. These two surfaces, this distance is R1 and this total distance, I consider this is O, this is A, this is B. So OA equal to R1, OB equal to R2. Clear? At A, the area, small area DS1, the direction in this way, normal, and at B, the small area DS2 is direction in this way. Here the electric field, direction of electric field E1 in this way, this angle θ1, and here is the direction of field in this way, this angle θ2. Clear? The charge is outside the Gaussian surface. So At first I mentioned that total flux linked with this surface will be 0. We will prove it. Okay, total flux, that is the charge is outside the Gaussian surface. Follow. For the ds1 total flux phi equal to E1 dot ds1 plus integration of E2 dot ds2. Now follow, at first I mentioned this flux inward negative and this flux outward so positive. So this flux is negative and this flux positive. Clear? Follow. E1 ds1 cos theta 1 plus E2 ds2 cos theta 2. What is the value of E1 at point A? Q by 4 pi epsilon 0 R1 square ds1 cos theta 1. Okay, in vacuum plus Q by, because the field is due to the same charge, point charge, but distance different. Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R2 square ds2 cos of theta 2. Follow this equation. Now what is this ds1 cos theta 1 by r square? Q by 4 pi epsilon common and minus integration of ds1 cos theta 1 by r1 square plus ds2 cos theta 2 by r2 square. This is the solid angle subtended by ds1 area here, and this is the solid angle subtended by the ds2 area. This is the, follow, this is the solid angle. Little sorry. So this is the solid angle subtended by ds1 area at O, and this is the solid angle subtended by the ds2 area at O. Both are same. Follow, d omega q by 4 pi epsilon naught minus integration of d omega plus d omega. So final result equal to 0. Follow, if the charge is outside the Gaussian surface, if there is no charge inside the Gaussian surface, total flux linked with the Gaussian surface is nil. We can prove it easily. Note it. Now we shall discuss the different types of application of Gauss's theorem. From here, okay, suppose this is a Gaussian surface and here is electric dipole placed, plus q, this point minus q, okay. So total flux, of course, 0, because Q by epsilon naught for plus Q and minus Q by epsilon naught for minus Q. That is total flux 0. Okay, clear? If this is minus 2Q, then total flux will be minus Q by epsilon naught, that is inward, not outward. Negative sign inward flux and positive sign outward flux. Clear? So now go to the application. First application, take uniform charged long wire, infinite long wire, and we have to find out the field at a distance r from this charged wire. Suppose lambda be the charge per unit length. Okay, linear charge density lambda. Consider a small area L of this wire. So total charge in this length, charge in length L equal to, suppose Q, lambda into L, charge per unit length in total charge in length L. We have to find out the field at a distance r. So we have to draw a Gaussian surface. Follow. Cylindrical surface we draw. L be the axis, r be the radius. This is a Gaussian surface. Okay. Now follow the field. This is the charge conductor. Suppose this is plus charge or minus charge. So direction of field in this word, normal to the Gaussian surface, and here also the electric field in this word, field in this word, and the normal of this curved surface in this direction, this, and this area vector in this direction, upward, this downward, and it is upward. Follow. E dot ds 0. So flux length through the plane surface E dot ds equal to 0. E dot ds 90 degree. E ds cos 90 degree. So this flux 0. So total flux linked with the curved surface. According to Gauss's theorem, integration of E dot ds equal to total charge Q by in vacuum epsilon naught. Clear? This is the Gauss's theorem. Again I mentioned the flux through these two areas will be 0 because E and ds are mutually perpendicular to each other. So total flux linked with the curved surface. E ds cos of 0 degree. E and ds same direction. Now ds q by epsilon naught. Follow. What is the ds? Total. This total ds curved surface 2 pi rl. So E into 2 pi rl equal to q by epsilon naught. That is E equal to q by 2 pi q. Value of q we put lambda l 2 pi rl epsilon naught. So L vanish, the final result will be E equal to lambda by 2 pi r epsilon naught. Of course, in SI system, Newton per Coulomb. If instead of vacuum there is another medium and dielectric constant K, the result will be lambda by 2 pi r K epsilon naught. Clear? So, this is the first application of Gauss's theorem. Now, next item, note it. Here, if we place 4 pi epsilon naught, follow E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2 lambda by epsilon 0. This is the constant for SI system in vacuum, 2 lambda by epsilon 0. So this same form, but same formula, but write in different way. Okay, clear? Next application. Gauss's theorem for spherical cell. Next application, spherical cell. Spherical cell. Follow that on the Gaussian surface the field is perpendicular and flux is field same and flux perpendicular. Second application, spherical cell. Thin spherical cell. Suppose this is a thin spherical cell of radius capital R. Q be the charge at the center O. Now we have to find out at a distance R outside the cell at P. Follow? Where OP equal to R, that is R is greater than radius of the sphere. So we have to draw a Gaussian surface here around, taking O as the center and R is the radius, that is OP is the radius. We draw an Gaussian surface. Follow the dotted line is the Gaussian surface if you complete it. Okay. This is the Gaussian surface. Inside the Gaussian surface, total charge plus Q. So, E dot ds equal to total charge Q by epsilon naught in vacuum. Follow, this is the Gaussian surface and total charge inside it. The direction of E in this way, and here the surface ds is also in the same direction. So E dot ds equal to E ds. In jumping the stepping, we may write E ds Q by epsilon naught. Value of ds total 4 pi r square. This area E equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So, with the help of Gauss's theorem, we find out the electric field due to a spherical cells at a point R, which is greater than the radius of the cell. Follow. Here, the spherical cell acts, the total charge acts as a point charge. Okay. In my first lecture, I mentioned that when the charge distribution of charge, total charge, cell means total charge, plus charge, charge always resides on the surface, always resides on the surface. So total charge on the surface area, the distance from the center OP equal to R, but though the charge resides on the surface area, but inside the Gaussian surface. Clear? In my first class, I mentioned And in case of distribution of charges, Coulomb's law is applicable. We consider the total charge at the center, and of course the distance between the two charges r is greater than the radius of the r, greater than the radius of the cell. Okay. Now, if the point is inside the cell, that is, follow, here is a point P, OP. This is R. Now we draw Gaussian surface in this way. This is the Gaussian surface. Now follow, the total charge is outside the Gaussian surface. So E dot ds q by epsilon naught, that is q equal to 0. So equal to 0. No field. So the total field from center to surface inside a spherical cell is 0. Clear? And on the surface E equal to similarly q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Again we mention that total charge resides on the surface of the conductor. Here, surface of the cell. If we draw a graph, E versus R, small r, what will be the nature of the graph? Follow. This is the distance from the center and this is the electric field. Follow. This portion E proportional to r square, but here capital R at the surface maximum, this is 0. So this is the E versus R. This is the nature of the graph of a spherical cell. Now we will go to the next application, non-conducting solid sphere. Non-conducting solid sphere. Follow this point. Application number 3. Non-conducting solid sphere. If the conducting solid sphere, if a charge conducting solid sphere, the charge will reside on the surface. But non-conducting, that is why we take non-conducting solid sphere. In this figure, this is a non-conducting solid sphere. The radius capital R. We have to draw the electric field at P at a distance OP equal to R, where R is greater than R. Just like previous case, that is spherical cell, it will be same, equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. Total charge q, plus q or minus q, as you like. No need to prove extra this case. But if the charge is intensity of electricity, we have to find out here at a distance OP. This is the P. When OP equal to R, R is less than R. Follow this. Non-conducting solid sphere, so charge distributed uniformly, suppose uniformly throughout the sphere. Total charge Q, the volume density of charge, that is charge per unit volume. Suppose this is sigma equal to rho, that is rho equal to total charge Q by 4/3 pi r cube. Charge per unit volume, the volume density of charge, volume of charge, okay, volume density of charge rho is equal to. So we have to find out the electric field at P. Now we consider a Gaussian surface taking O be the center and OP be the radius, that is this is the R. So charge on this inner sphere of radius R, so charge of inner sphere, that is suppose Q dash equal to 4/3 pi r cube into rho in unit volume rho. So total charge, clear. Now the Gaussian surface, inside the Gaussian surface, the total charge is Q dash. Now we apply the Gaussian law, integration of E dot ds. Here the direction E and also ds in the same direction, Q dash by epsilon naught. Put the value of Q dash 4/3 pi r cube rho by, now follow E ds dot ds means cos 0 degree, so E ds, integration of ds, E integration of ds equal to 4/3 pi r cube rho by epsilon naught. What is the value of this? 4 pi r square. Total surface area 4 pi r square. So E equal to E multiply 4 pi r square equal to 4/3 pi r cube rho by epsilon naught. Follow. 4 pi cancelled, r square r cube cancelled, E equal to rho by 3 epsilon naught into r. This is the electric field inside the solid sphere at a distance r of the center. Note it. If we put the value of rho, another expression we get 4/3 pi r cube QR 4/3 pi r cube. Putting the value of rho. So final result will be q r by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube. And in both the cases, E proportional to R. This is the two expression. Here we put the value of rho. Rho means q by 4 pi r cube. Okay. If the point is on the surface, that is here, on the surface in same way, E equal to the value of R will be capital R q r by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube, that is q by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q by r square. Similar, in case of outer point, the total charge which acts as a point charge 1 by 4 pi epsilon q by r square. Now if we draw in another form, you may write instead of rho here capital R. So maximum field, the field is increasing from center to surface, and maximum as the surface, and then decreasing, increasing according to this formula and decreasing according to this formula. So the graphical representation of the electric field for this case E R follow. E proportional to R, here R maximum value and E proportional to 1 by R square. Just like this type of figure you have seen in gravitational chapter, acceleration due to gravity chapter. Okay. Note it. Again I mentioned, for conducting solid sphere, the total charge resides on the surface. So just acts like a spherical shell. Next application for infinite long plane thin sheet. Plane thin sheet charge. Suppose this is a plane thin sheet. The charge plus or minus as you like. Find out the electric field very nearer to this point. This is a small area. We have to find out the electric field here. Similarly, this is the thin sheet. Inside, in this side, this figure, in this side same. We may draw just like follow. So this area ds, this area also ds, this area also ds. The field is in this direction, ds is in this direction, the field is in this direction, ds is in this direction. Positive charge, so flux will come out, that is direction in this, and here the flux, positive charge, so flux will come out in this direction. Now according to Gauss's theorem, E dot ds, here follow, this is E dot ds, this is E dot ds, so 2 E dot ds, thin sheet, for application number 4, I mentioned infinitely long thin sheet. Total charge, if sigma be the surface density of charge, ds This is the surface density of charge. So total charge. Now E equal to, put the value, because E and ds are same direction, so EDS cos 0 degree EDS. We get, sorry, here epsilon naught according to Gauss's theorem, total charge by epsilon naught into epsilon naught. So E equal to charge density, surface density of charge by 2 epsilon naught. If the sheet is thick, finite thickness, then what will be the result? For finite thickness, suppose this is another thickness. So here is the area in this way, and opposite side another area, follow, in this way. So E, same case, but here two area, follow, two area. So in this case what will be? 2E dot ds equal to total charge 2 sigma ds total charge by epsilon 0. So result will be E equal to sigma by epsilon 0. So here for thin sheet value 2 epsilon 0, but for finite thickness sigma by epsilon 0. This is the surface density of charge. If this is positive charge, if this charge is negative, so field direction will be in this way. Okay, note it. Okay, now I will discuss some very important problem, and which will help you in different type of problem to solve. Okay, follow these problems attentively. Note, number 1, this is a charge sheet, suppose thin charge sheet, and this is another thin charge sheet. Problem number 1, this is plus charge, this is minus charge. The surface density of charge here sigma 1, here sigma 2. This is the one area, this is number 2 area, in 3 area. Follow the field in area 2, field for positive charge in this direction, that is E1, for negative charge also in this direction E2, because the flux is coming out, here flux inward, it is outward, it is inward. So in the region 2, in region 2, the field will be, total field E equal to E1 plus E2, that is sigma 1 by 2 epsilon naught plus sigma 2 by 2 epsilon naught. Because just in previous case we discussed that for thin sheet the field E equal to surface density of charge by 2 epsilon naught. If the charge density is same, sigma 1 equal to sigma 2 is total. If sigma 1 equal to sigma 2 equal to sigma, then it will be sigma by epsilon naught. Clear? In this region 1, what will happen? Region 1, Follow. In region 1, the field will be in this direction E1, but the field will be due to this shift, negative shift, the field direction will be in this way. So total E equal to, of course, E1 minus E2, because E1 is greater than E2. This point is nearer to this shift, and this shift is far away from this point, this region. So result will be, as usual, you put the value and you will get. Okay, what is the direction of this field? That is greater than E1, so in this way. Final result, E will be in this way. In region 3, for first shift, the field E1 in this region, and for negative shift, the field in this region. So here, for region 3, the result will be E equal to again E2 minus E1, and final direction will be towards E2. Okay, if the charge density, surface charge equal, then case will be as usual. Now next problem, very note it. Next problem, follow. This is a cuboid. This is cuboid. Okay. If we place a point charge or distribution of charge or linear charge plus q, total charge, at the center of the cuboid. Okay. Follow. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 surface at the center of the cuboid. Note. This is the problem number 2. Note, this is a cuboid or cube, as you like. This is a cuboid, and here is the charge, plus q or negative minus q, as you like, plus q suppose. So according to Gauss's theorem, total flux phi equal to q by epsilon naught. This flux. So the question, if a point charge plus q or charge q resides at the center of the cuboid, then the total flux coming out through 6 faces, q by epsilon naught. Number 1, number A. Number B, through unit every phase, total flux coming out the link through every phase, phi equal to q by 6 epsilon naught. What will be 6 phases? So at each phases flux will be length q by 6 epsilon naught. Follow. Suppose this point charge shifted here. What will be the flux? Now look at this model. According to figure, here is the point charge. Now to cover this charge, another same cuboid is placed here. Same cuboid. Though in the model this is not are equal, but you consider both are the same cuboid. So the charge is covered, is enclosed by the closed surface. Circle is enclosed by the surface. So we may write here, what is this? 2 surface, 2 cuboid. 2 cuboid, case C, total flux q by epsilon naught. But this cuboid is not needed. I placed it here extra. So total flux will be here 2 q by 2 epsilon naught. So if a point charge is placed at any of the surface at the middle, any of the surface at the middle, then total flux will be q by 2 epsilon naught. Now suppose at one of the edge, follow it. Here I place the charge in this edge or in this edge or in this edge or any one of the edge. Suppose here, look at my finger, here is the charge. So here is the charge, here Here is the charge. So to cover this charge, we need how many cuboid? 1, 2, 3. The total 1, 2, 3, and initially 1, that is present, original 1, 4. So 4 cuboid total. So in that case, if the charge reside on the edge B at any of the edge, at any of edge Q by 4 epsilon naught. Clear? Again follow edge here. So to cover it we need 1 cuboid, 2 cuboid, 3 cuboid and 4 cuboid. Okay. Now if the charge is placed at any of the corner, here look at here, the charge shifted here. So here the charge, follow, here the charge. So we have to place 1 cuboid, 2 cuboid, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Follow. In this charge, here is the charge. 1, next 2, 3, 4, 4 in this side 4. Total cuboid, number of cuboid 8. So at any point, case number E, at any corner, Q by 8 epsilon naught. Clear? This case at the center, this case through one of the face, this case at the middle of the any surface, this case and at any point of the edge, this case at any corner. Suppose here is the charge. So in this case, what will be the flux through each face? Follow. Here is the charge. So if this charge, draw a perpendicular, this is normal, and this is normal. How many faces is normal? If we draw the flux, 3 faces. So for case number F, for each face will be Q by 3 into 8 epsilon naught, that is Q by 24 epsilon naught. Clear? If you have any problem or any query, you will send through my email address, to my email address. In this video, I will mention my email address. Okay? These cases are here. Now, we will go to the next problem. Okay, follow, note it. This is an hemisphere. Here is a charge. Here is a charge, plus Q or minus Q. So what will be the flux? Of course, Q by 2 epsilon naught. We need another hemisphere to cover it. Okay. So if this total sphere, Q by epsilon naught, but this is needed another. So here flux will be Q by 2 epsilon naught. Okay. Clear? Now next problem. Here is an electric field. Electric field E. No charge inside the surface. Inside this surface. Flux linked with this surface E with electric field. This is the radius R. So total flux we know phi equal to E dot ds. Here E and ds follow. E and ds, E, the direction of E and direction of ds in this opposite to each other. So total flux E into 4 pi, sorry, the area of this surface is pi r square, of course negative, because this is outward ds and E be the inward, and flux is inward. Here the flux will be same. Here the flux will be same, that is phi equal to E pi r square, but positive. So total flux linked with this closed surface, of course, 0, because phi plus phi equal to 0. This is my another problem. Follow it. In my next problem, this is x, y, z. The area is here, and area is parallel to the xy plane. The area, suppose 10 meter square. The field is perpendicular, parallel to the z axis. Field is parallel to the z axis, and the field equal to, suppose 3i plus 4j plus 5p. 3 be the x component of the field, 4 be the y component, and 5 be the z component. So what will be the flux linked with this area? Follow, this is the parallel to the xy plane. Parallel to the xy plane. So normal to the area in this way. It is also the area vector towards j. That is ds equal to 10j. So what will be the flux? E dot ds. That is E and ds in the same direction. So 5j dot 10j, that is 50 unit Newton meter to the power minus 1, sorry, Newton coulomb to the power minus 1 meter square. Value of E Newton per coulomb, and area of ds meter square. This is the total flux. This is another problem. If area is slightly inclined and the angle, if the area is slightly inclined, follow, if the area is slightly inclined at angle with the, this is E and this is ds, this is angle 60 degree. So area, suppose this is the area. In this case, what will be the result? The result will be 5 into 10 into cos of 60 degree. Clear? Okay. Today I discussed mainly Gaussian theorem and its application and different type of problem. So you note and follow the class attentively. Meet you again in my next class. Thank you.